Hey everybody, this is AF. And if you're watching this, you're the GOAT. Um, Welcome to Dev Diary número dos. Now, if you're new to this, I started doing these episodic bi-weekly Dev Diaries in order to shed more light on what I'm working on. And what I'm working on is PXLWARS, which is a turn-based tactical PvP brawl on the blockchain. And it's very cool. Or at least it's gonna be very cool because it's not done yet. I actually quit my job in the gambling industry, making video games for the online gambling industry, to pursue this passion project a couple years ago. So yeah, Dev Diary number 2. We did number 1 a couple weeks ago. You're welcome to check that out as well. And let's get to it. The format is, first, we'll be doing a in-game mechanics review. It can be anything related to the game, but this time it's going to be an in-game mechanic. I saw somebody asking for it, and I'm happy to oblige. Now, next is a game shout out. Because I personally am a gamer, I enjoy video games, I've played a lot of video games, and I like a lot of video games. So I thought, why not give some shout outs to games that I like and recommend them to you guys. It's pretty interesting. This game that I'm going to be recommending, right, this Dev Diary number 2, is going to be very cool. And last but not least, we will be doing a giveaway for the community. And for this giveaway, you're going to be asked to follow a Twitter profile, which is the sponsor of the giveaway, and also be a member of the Dead Pixels community on Discord as a verified holder. So verified holder on Discord, and follow Twitter account. We'll get to that pretty soon. If you're new, all of the links down below will point you into the right direction. And feel free to follow, like, subscribe, whatever. Right. Now, let's get to it. Number 1, the in-game mechanic that I promised we will be reviewing today is, well, I like to call it connecting dots. And it's actually literally connecting dots. Let me jump to the game. Now, what you see here is actually an in-development version of PXLWARS, and we're looking at the Void Arena. Now, as I mentioned in the last clip, I like to develop sandbox style, meaning that this is sort of an isolated environment, and each feature that I will be developing, I'm basically going to test and develop in this sort of sandboxed environment, so as not to, actually to make sure that all of the components are can sit on their own feet, so to speak, stand on their own feet. Anyway, as I said, we're going to be talking about connecting dots. And what do I mean by that? Well, you've probably noticed that our little player here is moving across this board in a specific pattern. Well, this pattern is basically where I can move on the board, right? So all of these white squares here basically, they basically show me where I can go with my little guy here, right? Obviously, if I cannot move in a specific direction, this is going to be disabled. The squares are going to be disabled. But there's also environment. There's also going to be environment in the game, and I'm using these little squiggly trees to demo the environment here. So basically, we're going to be able to destroy the environment, or some elements of the environment are going to be destructible. So that means that I will be able to interact with this tile because it's within my cross formation reach, right? So by the way, I'm using this cross formation just for the sake of the argument and to be like more simplistic in terms of approach. We're gonna jump to a nicer, more complex formation in a GIF. Now, in terms of this movement, because people were asking about it, basically you can just hop around with your Pixel Hero wherever the these white squares permit you, right? The white contour on each tile. Now, what if, for example, I wanted to somehow visualize the actual area of action? So basically, the area that I can interact, right? Because one interaction could be jumping, another interaction could be, destroying an environment or interacting with a specific tile and so on. So we need to showcase that somehow because people need to understand, users or the player needs to understand that there is basically movement is possible in that space. Now, what we're gonna do is let's take a screenshot of this area right here and just bring it over into our Photoshop. So what we want to do here is what the actual title says, right? It's connecting dots. And let me just pick a more visible color. Oopsie. Okay, so connecting dots. So in order to be able to showcase our area, we're basically going to have to draw some lines, right? Between these little dots, right? So basically we're looking for like a contour of our area, of our active area, right? So we just do this. Actually, you know what, let's preserve the rendering order. Ta-ta-ta, you can fast forward and so on. Cool. Boom and boom. So now, this player should be able to understand that he can interact with this tile, right? Because it's not highlighted, this is used to highlight movement. And again, this is still a development version. These might change and blah, blah, blah. We need to somehow showcase, right? So again, I'm going to show you placeholders now, but just so you understand, basically need to do some math and calculate distances between these points. And then once I've calculated all of the distances between all of these little points here, I can then draw a line between them, starting from the uppermost left corner. Let's call it upper left. And ending, obviously, going clockwise and ending with the same coordinate that I started with. Oops, this. Okay. Coordinate, each point, by the way, in 3D space, each point is represented by a vector. A vector 3, meaning that each point in 3D space has a x, y, and z coordinates. And this is what we're going to use to draw our border. Now, I'm not going to start developing and typing code in this clip. It would take much more than 20 minutes. I'll just go ahead and jump into the IDE that I'm using, comment this out, and what do you know? The function was already written. So basically what we did here is we managed to connect all of these dots, and voila, now we know that we can actually interact with this element. And again, this element can be anything we want it to be. Any interactable element that we have on the board here is up for, and obviously if it's part of our interactable area, is going to be, we're going to be able to interact with it. Now, let me just widen this movement area a little bit and just put a range of 2. By the way, each of our characters will have specific ranges. So when I say a range of 2, I mean that I can go 2 in this direction, 2 in this direction, 2 up, 2 down, and obviously diagonally as well. But now, if we look at it, you'll see that the all of the interactive elements are also being highlighted. And this calculation is done on with each move. So, oops, I think we have a little bug here. I need to sort this out. Thank God for these dev diaries. So basically, this is how the movement is going to work in PXLWARS. We are going to be taking all of the area that the character can interact with, either by moving to it or by jumping on it and so on. Here we got another bug, but you get the idea, you get the gist of it. Now, there are some restrictions, obviously, in terms of movement. So, for example, I can only move to a place that is directly adjacent to a tile that I'm using. Meaning that if, for example, let me see if I can find an actual, without getting too buggy. Anyway, I can't find it. But basically, in order to be able to move, to jump to a tile, to a specific tile, we need to, the tiles need to be adjacent to one another. So for example, if, let me see, if, let me just add in a obstacle here so you get the idea. So this is here. Okay, just in a little obstacle. So theoretically, it's not possible to go here because the tile is not, we cannot, this is an obstacle and we can't, there's no adjacent tile directly either left or right or downwards to this obstacle that we can't move to. So basically the condition is be on a white highlighted tile and then you're able to move. But if that white highlighted tile doesn't connect directly, meaning that it doesn't have a common edge with its neighbor, basically we can move diagonally. But we can move like this. Anyways, you're gonna get way familiarized with this kind of movement in the future as well as we progress. And the cool thing about this is, again, development. These are not going to be, these aren't going to stay like this. This is just a showcase. But the cool thing about the this dynamic contour that we can get is basically we can create some, we can come up with very creative stuff, meaning that we can actually add a particle system. And again, this is for demo purposes. It doesn't look too great, but we can basically add a particle system. And if we get rid of this, we can actually have a very cool highlighted area of our of where we can go with the character, and we can go even beyond this. We can even go and say we're gonna dim the actual lighting on these outside tiles to just emphasize where the character can go. Sky's the limit, obviously. So yeah. Basically, this is the thing that I want to cover, the dots that I wanted to connect, and obviously I do apologize for the couple bugs. The code still needs to be improved here, but I just wanted to go quickly go through it for you guys. And I do hope you guys got a better understanding of how movement is going to operate in game. Okay, I think we're done with this section. The next section of the dev diary is a in-game game shoutout, and for today, I actually picked a very cool game, a game which is very near and dear to my heart, and a game which I've actually recently played. Let me just mute this. The game is called Tunic, and it's been developed by it's actually been mostly developed by one guy, Andrew Scholdice, I think. And it actually, it's pretty funny. This game actually was in development for like 7 years, but the final result, even for those 7 years, the final result is breathtaking. Let's have a look at the trailer. So basically what you get to do is actually play around with this little fox guy and just go on this adventure, this very, very cool adventure filled with a lot of secrets and puzzles and whatnot. And you get to actually get to the game's conclusion at some point. It's a very, very, very cool game, and a game which I honestly recommend to you guys. You really need to try it out. You can find it on all of the platforms, and it's not a AAA game. So obviously, it's less expensive than a AAA game. If I were to actually put it somewhere, place it somewhere, it would be Zelda meets Dark Souls somehow in terms of game mechanics and combat and so on and so forth. It's a great game. Also, by the way, orthographic perspective, same as we see in Pixel Wars, and a lot of cool design and cool effects. It's a very polished game, and it's been very well received, by the way. Anyways, this is the game recommendation, game shout out. Very cool game, Tunic. Now let's move on to our third and final section of our clip, which is the giveaway section, which Dev Diary number 2 as well as Dev Diary number 1 will feature a Malwarebytes licensed giveaway courtesy of our dear friends and cybersecurity partners at Stratus Security. Now, Stratus Security, they basically, what they do is they offer cybersecurity services to other companies, and I've been very keen on this matter, especially since DEADPXLZ is a crypto company. It's safety and keeping people's funds safe and securing our protocols and so on is very important and not to be dismissed lightly. So in order to be able to win this Malwarebytes license, 1-year license that these guys are giving us to give away, you need to follow StratusSec on Twitter and also be a verified holder in the DEADPXLZ Discord. And that's it, I guess. This has been Dev Diary number 2. AF signing out. Cheers.